It's Rugby Championship Week 5. New Zealand travel to Argentina to play the Pumas. The Argentinians so far, impressive. 2 wins and 2 losses. The All Blacks, impressive, but perhaps not what people expected in that last result. They are 3 wins and the 1 loss. The teams have met once so far in Week 3, and that was New Zealand 46, Argentina 24. Kind of a blowout towards the end of that game. The scoreline perhaps doesn't reflect the quality or the tightness of that match, but Argentina have never beaten New Zealand, so despite their good form, it is still going to be a big ask for them going into this one. That being said, Argentina hadn't beaten Australia in Australia for 30 plus years, just a couple of weeks ago, and now they can tick that one off. So based on that form, is getting the scalp of the All Blacks kind of sorted? Is that the next thing on their list? You never know. The All Blacks will want to make sure it doesn't happen. There have been some changes for both teams. I'll list the teams in the description so you guys can have a look at the lineups. But some of the key points for Argentina: Ramiro, Herrera. He's based in France. He's a big tight head prop. He is coming back. He's been called up into the Pumas. So that means Bertranou, who started in that last game, drops to the bench to cover tight head. The impressive second row of Lavanini and Petti stays in place, as with that back row. No changes there, so that's really good news if you're a Pumas fan. The 9-10 combination, again, is the same. So there's a lot of stability in this lineup. Bertranou and Sanchez seem to kind of have a good thing going on between the two of them, and that's continuing, so we hope to see more of the same. There has been a little bit of a shuffle because Emiliano got injured in that last game, so he's not able to make a return. So Ezcurra comes into 12. Fuente moves out 1 to 13, and Moroni moves from 13 onto that left wing. So Ezcurra comes in and kind of pushes everyone out one. Kubeli, Orlando, and Cancellieri are the 3 replacement backs as well. So there is a little bit of chopping and changing, but for the most part, it's a pretty stable Pumas lineup. For the All Blacks, there's also a few changes. The captain has not traveled to Argentina. He's kind of being rested as a injury prevention thing because he's had back surgery not that long ago. Since then, he's kind of been thrust back in, playing for the Crusaders through that Super Rugby final, and now for the All Blacks. So he's getting a break. Sam Whitelock captains from the second row. Tuangafasi gets a start, so there's no Franks this week. Angus Ta'aval is on the bench as cover. Frizzell, Kane, and Luke Whitelock as 6, 7, 8. So that's interesting because Frizzell's only really had that one big game against the Pumas over here back in New Zealand in Tasman, in Nelson. He plays for Tasman, which is in Nelson. Kane back at 7 is good, and Luke Whitelock kind of gets his first game of the Rugby Championship, so we'll see what he can do from number 8 in the place of Kieran Reid, who, like I said, is not travelling. Also, Squire's injured, so that gives Frizzell another shot to impress. Artie Xavier still can't crack the starting team. He is on the bench. Interestingly, though, TJ Perenara gets a start at number 9. So he's buddying up with his regular guy in Bowden Barrett for this one. Aaron Smith on the bench. Sonny Bill Williams gets his first game in a long time. He obviously didn't play in that French series. He was injured for much of the Blues season, so a fair bit of pressure on him to come back. And Crotty's at 13. So if you're a cynic, you're going to be saying, man, Sonny Bill, is he fit to play? And Crotty often seems susceptible to injuries, so there's potential that 1 or 2 could go off, but hopefully they both get through this game without any incident. Anton Lienert-Brown, the forever underrated guy it seems, is on the bench once again, but we know what he can do, so if he's called upon, I'm sure he will do a job. No Geordie Barrett, so Ben Smith kind of slots in at his best position, although he did really well on the wing, but he's at 15. Naholo's back at 14. There's no Damian McKenzie this week. He's gone back to New Zealand for some bereavement leave, so Mo'unga comes in onto the bench. So it'll be interesting to see if he slots in at 10 and Bodie jumps to 15, or whether he jumps to 15 himself. I know he's played there a long time ago at, I think, Mitre 10 Cup level, but perhaps for the All Blacks it might be better to slot him in at 10 and see how Bodie goes, because Bodie's been there and done that from 15 plenty of times. The All Blacks kind of win for the Rugby Championship has definitely been delayed or perhaps derailed by that Springbok win over here in Wellington. If the Argentinians can get a win here, that would throw a real spanner in the works. But as I said, it's never been done before, so it's going to be a massive job if they can get up and do it. But they're in the right form, they're in the right place, and they've already kind of gone on some history-breaking stuff so far this season, so there's no reason why not. But the All Blacks will definitely be looking to bounce back. They very rarely lose 2 games on the trot, so they will be looking to impress. And as I said, with all those changes, there's a fair few guys, like despite all that consistency from the Pumas, there's a few guys who haven't really had a chance yet in that All Blacks jersey who are wanting to be really putting their best foot forward, and will be fired up to put in a shift here for the All Blacks now that they've got a chance. The All Blacks by 17 is what the bookies are saying, so it is a pretty comfortable margin, at least on paper. But like I said, this previous margin of 20-odd points was only kind of in the tail end of that game, and that was here in New Zealand, so I guess we'll see if being over in Argentina makes a difference. They tend to lift over there, as most home teams do, so I guess we'll see how the Kiwis, the All Blacks, New Zealanders go over there. You guys let me know your thoughts on the game, on the squads. How do you think some of these call-ups are going to go? How do you think the Pumas are going to go at home? Are they going to be fired up bouncing from that Wallabies win? Is the pressure going to be too much? Because getting that first win over the All Blacks can be a really tough one to get done. But once you get one, you'd think you're more likely to get the second one. But that first one is going to be tough. Bookies aren't giving them a chance, 17 points, like I said. But I guess we'll see how things go. You guys let me know your thoughts. And I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.